Welcome to the Book of Days. Today is the January 26th. Born Lord George Sackville, 1716. J.B. Bernadotte, King of Sweden, 1764. Thomas Noon Talfourd, 1795. Died Henry Briggs, 1630, Oxford. Dr. E. Jenner, 1823, Berkeley. Francis Jeffrey, 1850, Edinburgh. Adam Gottlob Oerklinger, Danish poet, 1850. Feast day, Saint Polycarp, Bishop of Smyrna, 166. Saint Paula, widow, 404. Saint Conon, Bishop of Men, about 648. And today I'm going to read a little bit about the seventh sons and their seventh sons. There has been a strong favor for the number 7 for a remote period of the world's history. It is, of course, easy to see that in that way, the Mosaic narrative gave sanctity to this number of connections with the days of the week, and led to usages which influenced the social life of all countries of Europe. But a sort of mystical goodness or power has attached itself to the number in many other ways. 7 wise men, 7 champions, 7 Christendom, 7 sleepers, 7 league boots, 7 churches, 7 aged men, 7 hills, 7 senses, 7 planets, 7 metals, 7 sisters, 7 stars, 7 wonders of the world. In all have their day of favor, albeit that the number has been awkwardly interfered with the modern discoveries concerning metals, planets, stars, and wonders of the world. Added to the above list is the group of 7 sons, especially in the relation to the youngest of 7th of the 7, and more especially still if the person happened to be the 7th son of a 7th son. It is now perhaps impossible to discover in what country or what time the notion originated, but a notion there certainly is, chiefly in provincial districts, that a 7th son has something peculiar about him. For the most part, the imputed peculiarity is a healing power, a faculty of curing disease by the touch or some other means. At Bristol, about 40 years ago, there was a man who was always called Doctor, simply because he was the 7th son of a 7th son. The family of the Jonases of Mudfie in Wales is said to have presented 7 sons to each of many successive generations, of whom the 7th son always became a doctor, apparently from a conviction that he had an inherent qualification to start with. In Ireland, the 7th son of a 7th son is believed to possess prophetical as well as healing power. Early in the present century, there was a man in Hampshire, the 7th son of a 7th son, who was consulted by the villagers as a doctor, and who carried about with him a collection of crutches and sticks, purporting to have once belonged to persons who he had cured of lameness. Cases are not wanting. Also, in the 7th daughter is placed upon a similar pinnacle of greatness. In Scotland, the spy wife or fortune teller frequently announces herself as the 7th daughter of a 7th daughter to enhance her claims to prophetic power. Even so, late in 1851, an inscription has been on a window in Plymouth denoting that a certain doctress was the 3rd 7th daughter, which the world was probably intended to interpret as the 7th daughter of the 7th daughter of a 7th daughter. France, as well as our own country, has a belief in the seventh son mystery. The journal de Loiret, a French provincial newspaper in 1854, stated that in Orleans, if a family has 7 sons and no daughters, the seventh is called the Marcot, is branded with a fleur-de-lis, and is believed to possess the power of curing the king's evil. The Marcot breathes on the part affected, or else the patients touch the Marcot's fleur-de-lis. In the years above named, there was a famous Marcot in Orleans named Foulon. He was a cooper by trade, and was known as Le Beau Marcot. Simple peasants used to come to visit him with many leagues in all directions, particularly in Passion Week, when his ministrations were believed to be most efficacious. On the night of Good Friday, from midnight to sunrise, the chances of cure was supposed to be especially good, and on this account, 400 or 500 persons would assemble. Great disturbance hence arose, and as there was evidence to all except the silly dupes themselves, that Foulon made use their superstition to enrich himself. The police succeeded, but not without much opposition, in preventing these assemblages. In some of the states of Germany, there used formerly to be a custom for the reigning prince to stand sponsor to a seventh son, no daughters intervening, or of any of his subjects. Whether still acted upon is doubtful, but there was an incident lately which bore on the old custom in a curious way. A West Hartlepool newspaper stated that Mr. J.V. Kurtz, a German resident in a busy colliery town, became toward the close of 1857 the father of one of those prodigies, a seventh son. Probably he himself was a sex Gotham by birth. At any rate, he wrote to the prince consort, reminding him of the old German custom, and soliciting the honor of His Royal Highness' sponsorship to the child. The prince was doubtless a little puzzled by this appeal, as he often must have been by the strange applications made to him. Anyways, a reply was sent to the prince's name, very complimentary with his countrymen, and enclosing a substantial souvenir for the little child. But the newspaper paragraph is not sufficiently clear for us to be certain whether the sponsorship really was assented to, and if so, how it was performed. Well, that's the end of the Book of Days, January 26th. I hope you enjoy. See you soon.